found the house. The cartographer and the surveyors, they did a good job. They put the house right where it is. I read the map wrong. I was way down there in the creek wandering around trying to figure out what was going on. But I found the house. Let me show you. I was out here detecting around and I came across a big pile of rust in the ground. And so I started digging and I found some stuff. I was digging through powdery rust and my shovel scraped on something. And I found this broken piece of kitchenware. And it's got an awesome decoration on it. Look at this. If you look at this, it's got this wheat on it. I've seen that before, but I saw it on a spoon. I've never seen it on a plate. And so that is it. This is exactly what I was looking for. This is where they lived. Sally Haskins was a 50-year-old woman who lived here back in the 1870s. And the house disappeared on the subsequent map. But she was here during the 1870s. And she lived here with her husband, Jasper. Sally and Jasper Haskins. Now this piece right here has a maker's mark on it that's chipped. It's broken right through the middle. And I thought if I could just find the other piece, maybe we could identify it. So I did, and we're gonna put these together and we're gonna see when this was made. Who made this? This is good history. I'm finding stones from the house. I also found this mason jar lid, which is one of my only high tones so far. And this one does not say ball on it, which is great. This couple appeared twice in history. Once on the map, Jasper Haskins, the other on the federal census. And based on their property values, I'm going to say that this house wasn't very big. It was a shack. It looks like a railroad spike, but it's not exactly a railroad spike. They're bigger than this. And I think this is homemade. I think this is one of those things that was made in like 1860s by a blacksmith or something, and it was meant to hold some kind of rail down, but didn't have to be a train track. There was other types of rails that were wheeled carts. Listen to this signal right here. To most people that's a trashy signal, but wait. Now to most people that's a trashy signal, but if you look at what it is, okay, it is a part of the story. It's pretty shiny, look. All right, it feels like lead. It looks like lead, but it's not. It's way too shiny. And so what this is it's a piece of babbitt which was melted to make bearings. Alright, two more finds. Here we have a square nail from the house of Jasper Haskins and a buckle, probably from one of his horses or a canvas saddlebag or something like that. This next find is so unbelievably good that I have to like officially thank everyone for watching the channel before I show it to you. So thank you. If you subscribe and comment or promote this channel or share, thank you, because it's the viewership that gives me the encouragement to come out here and push my way through all the brush and the vines and the thorns in search of history and good stories. Jasper and Sally Haskins didn't seem like they had very much, but they did have this right here, and this was one of the highest tone I've gotten all day. It's a very beautiful coin. I can't believe that I actually found this, because this is amazing. It's a great coin. They're not too common in the world of metal detecting, and it's this greenish colored, I guess it's copperish. It's 2 cents. Here we have a 2-cent piece from the year 1865, and it's in remarkably good condition. That's a fine coin, and it's amazing. There it is, 1865. I'll show you some cleaned up versions of it, but this is absolutely wonderful. Look at that. $1865, I believe that's the year this coin was first minted, and it's in excellent condition. The government was trying to get the economy back up and running because it was stagnated by the war, and so the government printed a bunch of these 2-cent pennies, hoping that people would start spending money and actually use money again rather than just trading and bartering. But this coin belonged to them. It's mine now, and the only reason why I'm interested in it is because it's a window into the past and the people's lives. And you can look in the coin and you can kind of see history and what it was like in 1865, a year after the war had ended. Everyone had lost someone. Let me show you what I'm dealing with here. You got to go through all this brush. It's always so thick, you can hardly get through it. Up here, it's so easy to get lost, so I put my gloves up to act as little flags. And so the reason why I don't do live digs is because of this. You got all this right here, and you got to get down on your hands and knees, find where the signal went. Now you got to get jabbed in the ribs with sticks. Okay, that's done. Now I got to get scraped by thorns. Okay, and then somewhere in here, somewhere there, it's impossible to dig a good plug out here. It doesn't matter, you know how far out I am in the country. And then there should be something in here. Didn't go deep enough. Still deep. Okay. And there's roots you got to contend with. A lot of roots. It's out. See? Okay, let's see what that is. And after all that, I have a piece of lead. And that's why I don't do live digs, because it is just so hard. There's a mound of dirt here. It's like a raised, rounded mound. And it kind of reminded me of this right here. I reluctantly dug into it, and thankfully it's just a high tone. Look at it's a grommet. Usually when I hear that, it's an axe head. I don't have to worry about scratching it because it's probably that. This piece of kitchenware traveled 5,000 miles to get where I found it. It has what's known as a kite mark on it, which is a symbol of encrypted information detailing its origin. And so if you have a key, you can read the information and learn about its history. And I can tell you from the kite mark that this was made in the 1860s by the J. Clemenston Company in Hanley, England, which at that time it was loaded onto a cargo ship, and it was transported across the ocean with wind power and sails. That's amazing. And so this wheat symbol right here was registered by the company November 5th, 1861. And this was marketed for Americans as ironware. So J. Clemenston saw that America was huge, and the citizens were traveling far and wide as they populated the country. And so he saw an opening to produce a product that could withstand the rigors of travel, and he called it ironstone. Now this wheat pattern right here was so popular at the time that somebody actually wrote an 85-page dissertation detailing the use of that pattern throughout history. So the original dish, unbroken, looked like this right here. This was actually it. And so to hold this in my hand and to think that it was broken by somebody named Sally back in the 1860s, 1870s, that's absolutely amazing. Now the coin, apparently the coin falls under the category of fine, which makes it worth $40. But that doesn't mean anything. What really means something is that it was minted in 1865, which was the year that President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. That was also towards the end of the Civil War. And this was the very first coin that ever said, "In God We Trust" on it. So even though it's listed at $40, it's actually worth much more than that, but not in a monetary value, in another sense. And so back in 1865, what could you buy with 2 cents? Well, I did some research and I found out that not much. You couldn't buy very much for 2 cents. You could buy a pound of cornmeal. And so the price of flour was outrageous compared to cornmeal. So I think that the family that we were investigating, the place we metal detected, I think they probably had cornmeal to eat. Because after looking at their property value, I can see that their property value was $800. Everyone else around them had 2 or 3 times as much value in their property. And so the husband, Jasper Haskins, his occupation was listed as a farmer, but because the land was on a steep hill, I imagine that he was not a crop farmer or a grain farmer. I imagine that maybe he was into poultry, or maybe he had a hog pens, something like that, because that land was steep and it was cheap. And so the fact that they lost 2 cents, that probably meant something to them. So that was a fascinating adventure, and that was what, metal detecting genealogy number 15. So the next video will be another interesting story. This one's pretty wild as well. And so I'm going to do a regular video, and then I think there'll also be a behind the scenes video. So that'll be fun. I'll see you then.
Flores non sa